Garden? Yep. Here we are. Luna, I knew you'd be here.
You knew?
Oh, right. We haven't talked here in this one, huh?
Isn't this nice? This is the only place in this whole facility with anything green. I kind of feel silly saying it, but it makes me think of the great outdoors. I think it's the perfect place for a serious conversation.
Sigma, I love you, and I want you to make love to me. We're trapped in here forever, and you will give me everything. Wow, Luna, you're very masochist.
Being surrounded by nature makes me feel happy. I'm not sure what you meant just now, but are you talking about something that happened in another history? I know what you can do. Someone told me about it once. They said that you have the ability to transport your consciousness through time.
Oh, so you know about that. Well, that's awkward. Who told you that? Luna looked down at her music box around the neck. Carefully and delicately, she twisted the dial on the bottom. Yay! Bluebird!
Sigma, aren't you here to ask me something?
Yes.
Why I killed them, perhaps?
You didn't. I already know that. Well, actually, I already know you didn't do it.
Oh? Why do you think I didn't do it? I'd like to know your reasoning.
Are we going to be Detective Sigma? Alright. I nodded and took a moment to compose my thoughts. Let's do it. Might as well start with the old woman. There's no point beating around the bush, I suppose. Deer killed her.
Why do you think so?
Her left arm had blood splatter all the way up to the elbow, except for a stripe on the wrist that was perfectly clean. What could have caused that? My guess is it's a bracelet. It got covered with blood and kept her wrists clean. Obviously, none of our bracelets have blood splatter on them, but Deer's bracelet reacted to the luminol. That meant Deer's bracelet had to have come from the old woman.
Is that your proof? That's why you think Dio killed her?
No, that's only enough to suspect him. After all, he could have just taken the bracelet after someone else killed her.
Then why are you so sure?
Because he confessed.
What?
After his bracelet reacted to luminol, I confronted him.
Alright, fine. You caught me. I did it. I killed the old bitch and took her bracelet.
Wait, when did that happen?
In a different timeline.
Isn't that against the rules?
What rules? I hope you're not going to try and bring up Nox's 10 Commandments. Oh, that's funny. Does it really matter if it's against the rules or fair? The truth is the truth. Let's say the incident P happens, and after that timeline splits into timeline A and B. I don't think it's unfair to base a theory in timeline A on information I found in timeline B. After all, A and B are both came from the same place, P. If you trace the history of both timelines, you'd end up back at incident P. Now, if I could change what happened with incident P by visiting timeline A and B, then yes, it'd be a different story. I don't know that it'd be I don't know that it'd be unfair per se, but I'd certainly be breaking some pretty big rules, like, you know, the principle of causality. I'm sure that Dio killed the old woman. By extension, that means you couldn't have killed her. By assuming Dio wasn't originally intended to be part of the Nonary Game, somehow he got in and took the old woman's place. That's how he ended up as Quark's partner. This is just an educated guess, but I have a feeling his plan was to replace one of us. I doubt it mattered which one. I have no idea why he would do something like that. And I don't know how he did it either, but the fact remains that he did. He hid in the warehouse on floor A and waited for someone to come out of one of the AB rooms. That someone turned out to be the old woman. She left Quark asleep and in the AB room and came out on her own. Somehow he managed to get close enough to stab her. He did it near the wall with the graffiti on it. I'm guessing he stabbed her from behind so that he wouldn't get any blood on himself. As soon as she was dead, he wrapped a knife up on the handkerchief. No, wait, actually. He probably took the bracelet first. Then he would have needed to wipe the blood off it so he could use the handkerchief for that too. Anyway, the point is that he got the bracelet and put it on. Then he wrapped the knife up and hid it between the rightmost AB room and its neighbor. He probably didn't expect that they'd move, or he would have put it somewhere else. After that, he headed back into the AB room that the woman had left. Quark would have still been asleep, so as far as he knew, Dio was there the whole time. This does raise a few other questions, but I'll save those for later. For now, let's move on to the other murders. Well, actually, one of them probably isn't a murder.
What do you mean?
I'm talking about Alice. I'm pretty sure she committed suicide.
All of humanity is going to die. Adults, children, everyone. Everyone! There won't be anyone left! I'd rather die here!
She'd been infected with Radical 6. I think that infection caused her to take her own life. She used Dio's knife when she'd found it in the warehouse after the AB room moved and exposed it. She took it with her and then she used it to stab herself in the crew quarters. Next are Clover and Temioji. The first question is, who put the handcuffs on them? The clue is the message Clover left, 016. If you think about it though, it does make sense. Clover's left hand was in the handcuffs. That means she would have to write with her right hand on her right thigh. It felt like it would be really hard to do that, you know? Why not just use your left thigh? The thing is, I think she did. When she died, her legs slumped together and the message got transferred to the right thigh. We just never saw the original because we didn't bother to check the other leg. In other words, she wasn't trying to write 016. She was trying to write Dio. With her dying breath, she was trying to tell us the name of her killer. Now about Kay and Dio. I think there's a pretty good chance Dio killed Kay. Here's how I imagine it happened. Kay probably sprayed Dio's bracelet with luminol. We found the bottle in Kay's robes. He wouldn't have seen the reaction immediately, but Dio would have known what was coming. As soon as Kay turned the lights off, it would be clear that Dio had taken the old woman's bracelet. My guess is he decided to take preemptive action. When we found the bodies, the light in the rec room was on. Maybe Kay turned the switch to light off and Dio took that opportunity to attack him. Kay was hurt pretty badly, but he didn't die right away. He probably managed to grab the spear and stab Dio. Then he died. So that accounts for all 6 bodies. None of them were your fault.
Sigma, I'm glad you don't think I did it, but all of your theories are just, well, theories. Like Alice committing suicide. How can you be sure? Say she was infected with Radical 6. She could have been murdered before her symptoms even began to present themselves. As for Clover and Tenmyoji, I could easily have killed them. You don't have any proof that Clover's message was mirrored like you say, or even that it was supposed to refer to Dio. Even if it did, that's not conclusive evidence of his guilt. The same goes for Kay and Dio. I could have killed them both.
Whoops.
Why do you trust me so much? I'm a machine. I'm part of this place. How can you trust a machine?
That's why I trust you.
What?
I trust you because you're a robot. Your robotness is just one reason you can't be the killer. Well, 3 more reasons.
Have you ever heard of the 3 laws of robotics?
Rule 1. Yeah, I know
A robot
this.
without the 3 laws is just a bunch of metal and plastic. Sigma,
Luna, I have to ask you, can you tell me, well, everything you know? Your mind is in the central server. You should know everything that's happened here. There was a long pause. Luna stood up and walked deeper into the garden. I followed her in silence. Eventually we reached the bench. Luna quietly sat down and just like last time I lowered myself down beside her.
you were right. I didn't kill them. How should I explain? Well, actually, you got most of it right.
That doesn't matter. Tell me everything.
Well, first, yes. Dio did sneak into the facility. He used the large cargo elevator and came into the warehouse on floor A through the number 9 door. Since the game hadn't started yet, anyone could go through it.
That doesn't really sound like sneaking, it sounds more like he just walked in.
Yes, I guess you could say that. He did get in pretty easily, but that's because Zero Jr. lured him here.
Oh, what do you mean?
Dio wasn't a surprise. Both Zeros knew that he was going to come.
So they brought him here?
In a way.
But
Because
why?
his presence was an important part of Zero's project.
What project?
I can't go into that right now. We'd be here forever. Right now, let's just focus on the murders, okay? Anyway, Dio found his way in. They made sure he didn't know that he was actually being let in.
So why did he come here?
To make sure Zero's project failed. His first step was to pretend to be one of the players. As for how he did that, you had it pretty much right. The old woman was the first one out, and he killed her under the graffiti. He put her bracelet on after he wiped the blood off it with the handkerchief. Then he wrapped the knife up and hid it between the 5th and 6th AB rooms,
5th and 6th?
counting from the left in their original placement.
In other words, the rightmost room would be the 6th room and the other next door would be
Right.
the 5th. I mean, do you really need an explanation on that?
After that, he went back into the 5th AB room where Quark was sleeping. Then he just waited for Quark to wake up.
So I'm guessing the doors weren't closed then? I don't know. What were you doing while that was happening?
Nothing. I couldn't do anything. My body had been turned off. Zero Jr. had powered me down. My body wasn't activated until after Dio went into the 5th room. I couldn't help her. All I could do was watch while she was murdered. Everything in this place is controlled by Zero Jr. I couldn't try and prevent Dio from getting in either.
Damn it. Wait, if Zero Jr. controls everything, then he was the one who moved the 6th room with the crane.
Yes, that's right. Zero Jr. moved the room, not me.
Then who moved the old woman?
Me. It took me 10 minutes to get out of my AB room once I was turned back on. I ran over to check on her as soon as I did. Then I carried her back to the room I'd been in,
Why did you do that?
because I was ordered to.
What? Oh, did Akane order her to or something?
Luna, listen to me very carefully.
Oh my, that's the announcer's voice.
As you already know, the final stage of the project begins in 2 hours. This will be the culmination of many years of hard work. We cannot afford failure.
Yes, I understand.
Then let's make sure. What is your mission?
Enter the Nonary Game as one of the participants and observe the actions of the other players. Ensure that they do what they are supposed to and guide them down the correct paths.
How many players will there be?
Myself and 7 others, ma'am. Will you be participating as well?
Yes. Our plan dictates that I must.
Wait, what? So... 7
An
others.
individual by the name of Dio will be entering this facility presently. He has been led to believe he is doing so undetected.
Wouldn't they call him Left? Because he only came up with the name Dio because he was on this assignment. So... She says Luna is one of them, and she's 7 others. That's not including Akane. So I'm assuming that's Quark, Temioji, Phi, myself, Sigma, Alice, Clover, and who am I missing? Quark, Temioji, Phi, Sigma, Alice, and Clover. That's 6. And then K? But they might mean Dio as well. Unless, of course, they think... Yeah, she probably means K as well. For some reason, maybe she knows K is a clone of mine. That's why she's saying 7, and then she doesn't realize, oh, Dio's gonna be there. And... yeah, okay, that makes sense. I'm just trying to see if there's any, contradictions, and trying to see if there's any plot things that are being revealed here.
You've been briefed on him already, correct?
Yes. He will murder the first person to leave one of the AB rooms and take their place. If a pair is the first out, He'll probably kill both of them. That's all the information I've been given on him, ma'am.
Is there a problem?
With all due respect, ma'am, I would like to state that I don't feel right about this. We know someone is going to be killed, and we're just going to let it happen? I also have doubts about the use of Radical 6. Are you sure? Infecting all these people with such a horrible disease.
That is none of your concern.
They infected us personally?
Your only concern is to follow your orders.
But
Luna, I am giving you an order. I am in command, and you do as I say. You are programmed to do as I say.
God damn it, Akane.
You know this.
yes.
Good. Now, I have one final order.
Another order, ma'am?
Yes. When you leave the AB room, the person Dio has killed will still be there. I would like you to move them.
Where?
To the room you are about to enter. The 6th AB room.
But what?
Not your concern. As a participant in the game, you must have as little knowledge of it as possible. That is why I have made sure you are unable to access any classified data. There are things you must not know. In order for this project to succeed, there are some things you already know, which ideally you would not.
In order for this project to succeed, we need you to be as close to a clean slate as possible.
Unfortunately, this is unavoidable, so you must refrain from divulging anything you know about the project to the other participants. You must never tell anyone what you know about Dio, or the body, or that you carried it to the 6th AB room.
But she's telling me now. Is the game over? Does the rules not matter anymore?
You will have to pretend you know nothing more than the rest of the participants.
Is that an order?
Yes. Do I make myself clear?
Yes. After that, I went into the AB room as I'd been told to. As soon as I stepped inside, my body deactivated.
Damn.
But since my brain is in the main computer, I was still awake, so I still saw everything. While I waited, I used the security cameras to see what was going on in the rest of the facility.
And you saw the old woman being murdered.
Yes, it was hard. What I was seeing made no sense. Several of my higher level processes nearly failed. To think that she would be the first person to come out. I think she knew that Dio was going to kill her. When she'd said she had one final order for me, I didn't understand what she meant. Like a fool, I told her I didn't approve, when I had no idea what she was prepared to do. When she died, whatever I have that passes for a heart felt like it snapped in two.
This is actually pretty depressing, especially since we got the Narukane well in 999. I think I understand. Everything you did because you were ordered to.
Yes.
And it was the old woman who gave you the orders. Then is she Zero Senior?
No,
What? But if she gave you the orders,
she did, but she wasn't the only person I took orders from.
there was someone else?
Yes,
And that person is Zero Senior?
yes. They worked together to develop the project she mentioned. So I suppose, technically, my orders came from both of them. And they were both controlling Zero Junior, too. I told you before that Zero Junior moved the 6th AB room. Although that's strictly true, he didn't do it of his own free will. They ordered him to do it. He was following orders just like me.
But why?
I don't know. I really don't. Maybe they did it so that people wouldn't suspect me.
If they didn't want people to suspect you, then why have you moved the body in the first place? Eventually we figured out the rooms to be moved, and that she was in your
Then
room.
Maybe they wanted the opposite.
You mean...
Maybe they wanted you to suspect me.
That doesn't make sense either. If they wanted people to suspect you, why move the room?
You're right. Then maybe they only wanted certain people to be suspicious of me.
You mean like Alice?
Yes. Perhaps they wanted Alice to find the handkerchief and the knife. That would explain why they moved the room.
So they somehow knew Dio would hide the knife here?
Yes, I think so.
But how could they know that?
Well, whatever the reasons were, Alice did notice that the room was moved, which meant that Clover also figured it out. And just like you said, Alice used the knife to take her life. Clover didn't realize that, though. Or perhaps she didn't want to. In any event, she decided that I must have killed Alice to keep her quiet. So she confronted me. It was right after the second round of the AB game. Using Phi's timetable, that would be 0 hours, 0 minutes.
Wait, you were listening to us in the security office?
Yes, that wasn't all I was listening to, though. I know everything that happened in the facility after my body collapsed.
You were watching through the security cameras?
Yes, I was. I could see and hear everything.
Oh
Anyway, we're at 0 hours, 0 minutes. I was in the hallway on floor A when Clover found me and took me to room 2 in the crew quarters. We entered at about 0 hours, 1 minute. She was very forceful.
I know you killed Alice. Tell me the truth, and I'll let you live. Now, fess up! I'm only gonna give you one chance. If you lie, or try to play dumb or something, I'll kill you.
I told her the truth, of course. I explained that I hadn't killed Alice, that she'd been infected with Radical 6, and it had caused her to kill herself. Clover was never going to believe that, though. We argued about it for nearly 9 minutes. It wasn't just Alice she asked me about. She asked me about the murder of the old woman, and about the AB room being moved. She wasn't very nice about it, but I couldn't answer any of her questions. Yes.
Because of your orders?
Then, at about 0 hours, 10 minutes, she must have run out of patience. She stuck her hand in her pocket and started moving toward me. She backed me up against the wall and pulled her hand out of her pocket. She was holding the injection gun. I tried to take it away from her. I even screamed for help. She refused to let go, of course, while we were fighting over it.
Oh boy. Whoa, hold on a minute. The trigger got pulled in a fight, I get that part. What I don't understand is why it did anything to you.
You mean, because I'm a golem? One of my orders was always to act like I was one of the players. A human. Any human injected with that amount of tubocurarine would die.
Then that's why you, died? To keep up the facade that you were human?
No. I collapsed because Zero Jr. turned off the power to my body again. He probably felt he had to. Maintaining the illusion that I was human was probably in his orders, too. So to make it look like I had died, he turned the power off. Whatever the case, it was an accident. I don't think Clover ever intended to actually kill me. She only took the injection gun to try and threaten me.
How can you be sure?
When I collapsed, she looked terrified. She checked for my pulse and listened to see if I was breathing. She also shook my body and called out to me several times. If she'd meant to kill me, why do all that? After a few moments, she ran off to the infirmary to get the AED.
You mean the defibrillator?
Yes.
Adult erotic doctor. They used an electric shock to restart the heart, right?
Correct.
So that was why she left?
Yes.
At 0 hours 11 minutes 40 seconds, Clover left the cabin in the crew quarters.
She ran off toward the infirmary. On the way, she bumped into Dio. Yes. I guess she just saw him, really. They didn't talk. She just ran past.
And he just watched her go by?
Yes. I imagine he was curious, of course. He probably wondered what she was doing. But he chose not to go after her. He had something else to do.
At 0 to 12 minutes, Dio enters the room.
He seemed pretty surprised to find my body.
Yeah, I
It
bet.
didn't take him long to get over it, though.
Wouldn't imagine it would. What did he do then?
He'd gone there for 2 reasons. One was to get Alice's bracelet, which was a blue solo.
Right. Without it, Dio and Kay, the yellow pair, wouldn't be able to get through the secondary door.
Yeah, but he couldn't find it.
Of course, Phi had already taken it by then.
Yes. He was there to take the knife. Removing it was gruesome.
But why did he want the knife? And how did you see that camera angle anyway? There's no cameras besides the one, and it doesn't show that part. Was it because he'd used it to kill the old woman?
No, I don't think so.
Then why do you think?
I think he didn't want anyone to see the engraving on the knife's blade. That's why he hid it so well after.
That makes sense. Why wouldn't he want anyone to see
Do
that?
you remember what it said? There was a word engraved on the blade.
Myrmidons.
Yes,
What does Myrmidons mean?
it's the name of the organization he belongs to.
What is it, like a club or something?
I don't think so.
Well, what is it then?
I don't really know.
No idea?
I'm afraid not.
Wait, wasn't he here to try and stop whatever Zero was
Yes.
doing? Then, wouldn't that mean he's on our side?
I don't know about that. He's killed 4 people. I'm not really sure he's on anyone's side.
You got a point. Damn it, this is ridiculous. I guess this enemy of my enemy isn't my friend, huh?
May I continue?
Yeah, keep going. After he took the knife, Dio rifled through what few belongings Alice had. Luna said he didn't seem to be looking for anything in particular. He was probably just checking to see if she had anything useful. That was where he found the key to Kay's suit. He didn't seem to have any particular reason for taking it, at least as far as Luna could tell. At 0 hours 30 minutes, Dio left the room.
He heard Kay opening the cyan door and ran out. When he left, he was heading toward the infirmary. My guess is that he was going after Clover. He found her with the AED. She was probably planning to just ignore him and head back, but Dio didn't let her.
Hey, wait. Just what are you planning to do with that thing? Thinking about trying to resuscitate Luna? And why would you want to do that? You were the one who killed her, weren't you?
When Clover tried to push past Dio, Luna said they began to fight.
What do you think you're doing?
Dio pulled the knife out of his pocket and pointed it at Clover's throat. That was when he showed up. Okay. Oh, Temioji.
What the hell are you doing? None of your goddamn business. Stay out of this, you senile old shit.
Like hell, you son of a bitch!
He let out a yell and leapt towards Dio. The younger man dodged him easily and lashed him out with a knife. Temioji caught Dio's hand with a grunt, and for a moment the two men struggled. Then as the knife edged closer, he wrapped his other hand back around the blade, and tried to force it away. Damn it. But Dio was a much younger and stronger man, and the wound Temioji gave himself with the knife didn't do any many favors. He put up a valiant fight, but with a raw, Dio threw him off, and Temioji collapsed to the floor.
What are you going to do?
Let's see. How about this?
And he cuffed them.
How cute. You two really look great together, you know?
What are you going to do to us?
Isn't it obvious? I'm gonna handcuff you to a sink. Actually, I already have.
Are you gonna beat us to death or something?
Ugh, no. Nothing so tasteless.
Well, what are you going to do then?
How'd you like to make a bet?
A bet?
You've got, 20-some minutes until the primary white doors open. So I'd say you've got 25 minutes until they close. Give or take. If somebody happens to come by here before the doors close, you might live. But if nobody finds you, well...
We'll be penalized.
Exactly. So, I suggest you start screaming for help now. Unfortunately for you, just about all the rooms in this place are behind at least 2 nice thick doors, so unless they're pretty close, nobody's gonna hear you scream. Well, I'm off to the Floor B warehouse, okay? Enjoy your last 25 minutes. Later.
God damn it, Dio.
25 minutes passed and no one came. Of course, by then there were only 3 other people who could have come, apart from Dio.
You mean Phi and K, right? Me, Phi, and K, right?
Yes, you were in the crew quarters at this point.
Oh, yeah. K had told us about you. We'd also noticed that the knife in Alice's chest had been removed. If only we'd known what was happening in the infirmary.
Unfortunately for Clover and Tenmyoji, Their time had come. Once the primary white door closed, both of their bracelets injected them with soparil.
The anesthetic.
Yes. Almost immediately, they started to feel sleepy. I think that's when Clover realized she was definitely going to die. That was when she decided to leave her message. Just as you said, she wrote on her left thigh with her right hand.
And the word she wrote was dear.
Yes.
Coincidence that it was 016 on the other side though. But love that. Stupid.
As for what happened in the rec room, well, I guess I don't really need to tell you. Your theory was essentially correct. What you said was what happened.
I'm smart, that's why. So Kay sprayed Deer's bracelet with luminol, and then while his back was turned, Deer attacked him with an axe. Deer mortally wounded him, but didn't kill him, so Kay turned around and stabbed Deer with a spear. And I guess that's where we found them. When did Kay get the luminol?
After they went through the white door, Dio and Kay found themselves in the director's office. When they were done there, they headed back to floor A to look for everyone else. They went to the crew quarters first, then to the infirmary. Of course, they found Clover and Tenmyoji's bodies there. Dio expected to find them, of course, but he pretended to be shocked. Anyway, Kay checked them over for anything useful.
And that was when he found the luminol.
Right.
That was covered, okay.
That's everything that happened. Do you have any questions?
Well, what do you think? Does a bear shit in the woods? Well, the first thing is Quark's bracelet. Why was it in the infirmary?
Tenmyoji had it. Then when Dio attacked him, it fell out of his pocket.
But why did Tenmyoji have Quark's bracelet?
I told him where it was. Do you remember when you were in the rec room with Phi and Tenmyoji?
Yeah, when he sprayed us with the luminol. Sure, I remember that.
Right after then. When he left the rec room, he went toward the green door to look for Quark. I ran into him at the end of the hallway, where the 3 doors and the switch are. That was when I told him.
So...
Look, Tenmyoji. The center door is unlocked. He took off through it without another word.
That was the treatment room,
Yes,
when Quark was sleeping.
right. It only took him a moment. As soon as he saw Quark, he ran to his pod and started crying.
Out of
Yes.
relief.
The display on the pod showed Quark's vital signs. It was obvious he was alive the moment he looked at it. Next to the pod was Quark's bracelet. That was how Tenmyoji got it.
Why was Quark's bracelet off?
I took it. Aluminum foil.
Oh! You mean the stuff at the crew quarters? It negates magnetic... it negates the static and the electromagnetic stuff through the air. And even the body, so you put it around the bracelet, it can't detect the pulses, the electromagnetic pulses in the air, and the blood and everything, and it just thinks, oh, there's no static, I'm just gonna come off now. That is smart.
Oh, you found it? Did you know that aluminum foil has electromagnetic shielding properties?
What?
Here's an exciting fact. Your heart creates a bunch of faint electrical impulses. Anyway, the point is that you can detect the electricity that your heart makes by pumping blood. Your fancy little bracelets pick up on that. They're always watching.
Wait. So you're telling me the aluminum foil can block the electromagnetic waves your heart sends out? Oh my god, I should do this right now!
Yes. All you have to do is wrap it around your bracelet.
And the bracelet thinks your heart is stopped?
Yes.
Holy shit. It was that easy all along.
Anyway, I used some aluminum foil to get Quark's bracelet off. Then I put it next to the pod.
Wait, so why was Quark in the pod to begin with?
Oh, that's easy. I put him there.
When did you do that?
Remember when we were first looking for Quark? I found him unconscious near the entrance to the Golem Bay.
So you carried him to the treatment pod.
Yes.
Were you the one who unlocked the treatment pod center?
No, I was not. I do not have the authority to operate any of this facility's machinery.
So it was Zero Jr.
That's right.
He reactivated your body too. Man, I don't get any of this. I think she forced herself to be reactivated. I guess it wasn't really him that did it, huh? He was just doing what Zero Senior and the old lady told him to do. Everything leads back to them, huh? Of course it does. Ooh, she's staying quiet. So are you gonna tell
Tell
me?
you what?
Isn't that obvious? Tell me what this project is. Everything that happens in here has something to do with it. So why were you brought?
To play the
brought it.
Nonary Game.
And why were we supposed to play the Nonary Game?
That was part of the project.
And what was the project? Why did Alice kill herself? Okay.
Because she was infected with Radical 6.
How did she get infected?
Zero Senior and the old woman did that. It was a necessary evil. It had to happen for the project to succeed.
What would have happened if Alice hadn't committed suicide?
Clover wouldn't have suspected me, and she wouldn't have accidentally, killed me.
Then
I
what?
wouldn't have collapsed, and Dio wouldn't have found my body. That would have meant the confrontation in the infirmary never took place.
In other words, you're saying Clover and Temioji died for this project.
Yes.
Well, actually, it was the Turbocurian that killed them. But they were only infected with it because of their bracelets, and they were only wearing those bracelets because of the Nonary Game. The Nonary Game was sort of part of the project, and that's one more way it killed them.
I guess, if you want to look at it that way.
Now, what about Kay and Dio? Why would they kill each other?
Because Dio killed the old woman. He was worried about getting caught, so he tried to kill Kay before he could find out the truth.
Then if Dio hadn't killed the old lady, what happens in the rec room would never have taken place.
Yes,
So let me ask you this. Why did Dio kill her?
so that he could pose as one of the participants.
And why did he do that?
To disrupt the project.
Then why did she let him kill her?
The same reason they did all of this. It was a necessary evil. The project couldn't be allowed to fail.
Alright then, I think we already clarified this, but let's clarify it again. 6 people died here. 4 of them were murdered, one way or another, by Dio. At first that makes it look like Dio is the only person they all died. But that's not true, is it? All of them, all 6 of them, they all died for this project. That means that the murderer, or I guess I should say murderers, were the old lady and Zero Senior. Please, Luna, tell me. What is this project about? Who is this old woman? Who is Zero? Here it comes.
Sigma. Would you hug me?
Okay, sure. I guess. Instead of answering, Luna wrapped her arms around me and buried her face in my chest. My own arms hovered in the air, confused about where they should go. I swallowed hard and tried to rein in my heartbeat, which had suddenly doubled. I was about to speak when I felt something warm on my chest. Was Luna crying?
This feels nice.
Safety? Bad? I guess that says... I don't know what it says. Star something? Her voice shook as she spoke. I lowered one hand to her head and began to gently stroke her hair. Whoa! What the hell? Hey, Luna! What the hell's going on?
I'm sorry. My ABT is usually held in place by muscle fiber, but after Clover gave me the tubocurarine...
Okay, I get it.
Does it scare you? This is what I really look like. I'm a golem, just a machine, a jumble of metal and plastic that pretends to be real.
I don't care. You're a nice person. I wrapped my arms around Luna and hugged her as tight as I could.
You believed in me this whole time.
Yeah,
Even though I look like this?
of course. I trust you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I wish I could stay here forever. You feel so nice. but I think my time is up.
What?
I've done things I really shouldn't have. Do you remember what you asked me earlier about if Zero Jr. had reactivated my body?
I knew
Remember?
it.
The truth is, he didn't. I did. I went to the part of the core that controls Zero Jr., and I hacked it.
What?
Yes, that was
Yeah.
the first thing.
Yeah,
The
Sigma.
second. Do you know what the second one was? If I had really wanted to, then Kay and Dio probably wouldn't have killed
Oh.
each other.
I could have saved Temioji and Clover. That's what she could have done. Because since she was able to reactivate herself, she didn't reactivate herself in time to save Clover and Temioji, meaning it was her choice. Meaning she couldn't have saved Temioji and Clover. She could have saved them, but she didn't.
That's not all. I could have stopped Alice from killing herself. And I could have even saved the old woman at the very beginning.
Because she could have hacked the server.
In other words, I had the ability to disobey my orders. But I didn't. That's the second thing. I broke the first law. I was scared. I was afraid to die. Obviously, hacking the core and taking control of Zero Jr.'s systems is very, very bad. Golems who don't follow orders can become dangerous, so we're terminated if we disobey. You lose access to your body, of course, but everything that's stored in the core, your memories, your consciousness, is deleted.
What? Wait, are you
Yes.
saying...
Very soon now I'll be gone. Zero Jr. is probably recovering himself right now. Once he's done, I doubt I'll be around much longer.
What? Why? Oh,
I
boy.
watched 6 people die and did nothing. I deserve this.
Even if you had done something, you would have been killed anyway. You can't blame yourself. You did what you could. You're not wrong. This game is what's wrong. Forcing you to watch your friends die is what's wrong.
Oh, Sigma, thank you. I'm really glad I met you.
No worries. I actually think I know what's going to happen in the future, and I think you've met me already, but it's going to be okay. I'm not going to let them do this. You're going to be fine, I promise. Just please don't.
Sorry. At least I get to die in your arms.
Luna!
Thank you, Sigma. And goodbye,
God damn it.
Doctor.
Wait, Doctor? Oh my god, am I right? I want to say something so bad, but I'm worried it's going to be endgame spoilers. Oh, but she couldn't answer. I squeezed my eyes shut and held her, unable to bear the thought of letting any more of her slip away. With one last quiet chime, the music box wound down. I was left with nothing but silence and the cold pool of tears over my heart. God damn it. Luna's End. God damn it, that's sad. Oh my god. Luna. I don't even know what to say there. Oh boy. Okay, so 2 things. 1 is a warning, 2 is a theory that I was just talking about. Sorry, I'm a little sad over that. So if you don't like spoilers for Endgame, I wouldn't listen to this part of you. I'm probably going to make this the end of the episode, so feel free to go to the next episode or something if it's out. So I think I know who Zero Senior is. Now, so there is actually some things that happen. So, for example, she called us doctor, so obviously that means we're a doctor, and I remember Sigma saying how he was working for a PhD, which I think is a doctor thing. And so, if we connect the dots, we can actually work out who Zero Senior is. And I think it's Sigma. And the reason I'm saying that is because there is too many things pointing towards him. The main one, I'll say at last, but for now, Sigma has cybernetic arms, and we haven't even seen his age yet, so for all we know, he could be very, very old. And he could have the old version of Sigma could have just jumped back. Honestly, could have just jumped back to the past, and young Sigma could have just taken his old body. So the old Sigma doesn't know what the hell's going on, but he's in the young Sigma doesn't know what's going on, but he's in the old Sigma's body. So it would explain why young Sigma doesn't actually know why his arms got cut off. But the old Sigma is just there. He's just there in the young Sigma and stuff like that. While the young in the young Sigma, while the young Sigma's consciousness is playing the Nonary game. I can't think of all the evidence off the top of my head, but the main one that I know so far is Kay. Now, Kay explained to us a story. He explained how his father, the one who created him, never actually talked to him properly, and there were times where he wanted to talk. Kay wanted to talk, but he never got to. He got to the stage where he just got used to it. Then he realized from all these books, and I think it was movies as well, that he wanted a mother. And he asked the father, can you make me a mother? And he decided to make one out of a golem, a robot, which Kay hated, even though she acted like a robot. And I'm just going to go on a limb here and say he made Luna. I'm just going to go out on a limb and say that, because I think that's who he made. It would explain how Luna is so intelligent, and it would explain how she seems to be the smartest of the golems. Why she has an ATB thing over her, why she knows so much about the old lady, how she cares about her so much. She was possibly one of the first golems Zero Senior made, the father. So I'm assuming Luna was made to take care of Kay originally, and then she just grew from that to be in the Nonary game. But the reason I'm saying Sigma might be Zero Senior is Kay, what he looks like. He is Sigma, he's a clone. And if I'm right, what the hell would someone who's not Sigma do by making a clone that looks like Sigma? Does that make sense? Like, you'd think if you're going to make someone... For one reason, we don't even know why he made Kay. All we know is that he did make Kay, and that they made him in the way that Sigma looks, young Sigma. So, for all I know, that could be several things. That could just be, oh, this is me at my finest age, or, I've got no recent photos of me, this is the best one I can come up with. Or it could be maybe something happens at that time when he's still that young that causes him to lose his arms. And he's just like, oh, this is the last time I had a full human body, I'm just going to make Kay in this image because that's the last time I had a full human body. But either way, the fact that Kay looks like Sigma just points it towards it. I could be so wrong. Honestly, I could be very, very wrong that Sigma is Zero Senior. It just makes sense. Kay looks exactly like Sigma. The cybernetic arms, the fact that he was able to make those cybernetic arms, that doesn't really prove he's Zero Senior, but it just makes it a very high chance. Because Zero Senior is proven to possibly be a doctor because of the way he's able to use keep Radical 6 stored and all these other chemicals and stuff, like Exelavir, how he knows about it all. He's probably the one who made Exelavir, for crying out loud. Older Sigma. But what do you call it? But Zero Senior has made a lot of different tech in this place. We're not even sure if he made this place himself, but he most likely did. If he didn't, then I have no idea how he got control of it. But I'm going to go on a limb and say he did make all this, which means he's definitely very smart. So what's stopping him from making cybernetic arms? Nothing. I'm not sure if it's true or not, but I think Sigma's Zero Senior. And that is honestly mind-blowing. The fact that we're playing as someone that has no idea what's going on, but it turns out he's the one who did all this. Honestly, besides that, I'm just completely mind-blown. But either way, if that does turn out to be the final plot twist, holy crap. It's so... It's not obvious, but they put the information out there. They're like, here's a bunch of shit. We're going to point you towards this once. We are going to show you one thing that points the truth to the suspect. And you're going to figure it out. And I'm going to be like, yes, I did figure it out. Let's do Betray, shall we?